Students, we are now starting a new lecture series of DC circuit analysis. In this video series, we are going to learn different techniques of DC circuit solving. This particular video is going to discuss the different terms associated with any circuit solving. So let's learn these terms and terminology that will assist us to proceed forward. Now, any circuit, whether DC, whether AC, DC stands for direct current and AC stands for alternating current. So any circuit basically consists of three different parts. The first one is referred as circuit. The second, power source, and third, connecting wire. So every circuit is going to consist of these three basic parts. It is going to have some circuit element. A circuit element can be a resistor, it can be a capacitor, it can be an inductor, or maybe 2-3 capacitors, maybe 2-3 resistors, maybe 2-3 inductors, or it may be a combination of resistors, capacitors, or inductors. But for ISC physics, we would limit ourselves only and only to the resistors, only and only capacitor circuit. In ISC physics, we do not go for the combinations of resistor capacitor in a DC circuit or capacitor inductor in a DC circuit. We simply go for resistor only circuit, or we simply go for a capacitor only circuit. Now, as far as the power source is there can be two types of power source, one DC, another AC. So DC consists of a cell, you can see this is a cell, or it may consist of combination of a cell, and then we are going to call it as a battery. And this is an AC source or a dynamo. Kindly note the symbol. You should be very much acquainted with the symbols, okay friends. Now resistor has got a symbol like this, capacitor, as I told you in the earlier video when we discussed about capacitor. Now out of these two, the third thing that is going to be required is connecting wire. Without connecting wire, no circuit element will ever be completed. You can't complete a circuit with the help of a thread. So connecting wire is a very essential part of the circuit, and it is going to behave like a pipeline through which the charge can flow. The flow of charge constitutes something which we call it as current. Now basically any circuit can be either a series circuit or it can be a parallel circuit for ISC physics. It may also be a combo of series and a parallel circuit. If it is not a combination of a series and a parallel circuit, then there can be a chances that it will be a Wheatstone bridge. So friends, as we are going to progress, we will learn how to identify series circuit, how to identify parallel circuit, how to identify a combo of series and a parallel, or how to identify a Wheatstone bridge circuit. For ISC physics, we are going to limit ourselves into these four or five different types of circuit analysis. Now students, as I told you that circuits can be of two types, one DC circuit, another AC circuit. Now DC circuit is generally made with the help of cell or a battery. So over there you will find that cell has got the capability of allowing the current to flow in only one direction. So there is only one directional flow of the current, and the value of the current remains constant for a longer period of time. one end of the cell or the battery is considered to be positive, while the other end is always considered to be negative, and the current is always flows from the positive end of the battery towards the negative end of the battery. So as you can see, this is the positive end. The current is going to flow from the positive end of the battery to the negative end of the battery. So that's how the current is always going to flow. That's a unidirectional flow of current that takes place. And since the current flows in only one direction, so that's the reason why we call it as a DC current. So you can see there is a positive value of the voltage at every instant of time. Now AC circuit consists of an AC power source or simply an AC dynamo. The value of AC always fluctuates, always changes between a positive value and a negative value. So for a short interval of time, as you can see over here, for a short interval of time, the value of AC will be positive. Here you can see it's positive, and for another interval of a time or for the next interval of time, you can find the value to be negative as here. Is that clear? So the AC's values are going to be fluctuating or alternating between a positive value and between a negative value. Now, such type of circuits are often called as AC circuits. Now, when we are going to study an AC circuit, we will study about it in a much more greater detail in the later chapters, friends. Now, let's move further ahead into the circuit analysis. There are certain terms that you need to understand before start solving the circuit. One such term is node or junction. So any point where more than two, now remember friends, I'm talking about more than two, not two. Two is not a node. So more than two current carrying paths meet. Suppose you can see over here, what you are observing, I am having more than two. From here the current comes, from here the current goes, from here the current goes, and from here the. So this is a junction or a node where more than two current carrying path is meeting. I need more than two current carrying path. If there are two, I am just going to call it as a point. Okay, for example, over here you can see this is a node. Why? Because this is one path, another path, this is another path. So there are three different paths. Okay, so this is node. This is also a node. Why? Because once again you can see there is a path, there is another path, and then there is another path. So all these points are going to be termed by us as nodes. So all these are nodes. Let me call it as N1, N2, N3, N4, and so on. But if you look to these points, but if you look for this point, this is not a node. This is not a node. This is not a node. So take care. This is also not a node. This point is also not a node. Not a node. तो ये पॉइंट्स नोड्स नहीं है. नोड्स वो पॉइंट होते हैं जहां दो से ज्यादा, आई एम नॉट सेइंग टू, दो से ज्यादा करंट कैरिंग पाथ आकर मीट करते हैं. तो दो से ज्यादा करंट कैरिंग पाथ के पॉइंट्स को हम लोग नोड्स कहेंगे. अगर दो नोड्स किसी तार से जोड़ दिए जाते हैं, इफ दे आर जॉइंड बाय सिंपल वायर, they are there to confuse you. You can see over here, I've got one node, this one and this one. Now these two nodes are joined by a simple wire, so they are there to confuse. Just remove this and join the circuit like this. So whenever you get a node, you simply make one single node. So if there is a wire joining the two nodes, just short it out, the shorting wire, just remove that node and put these two nodes together and label them as one. So all the nodes which are joined by the short must be labeled with the same notation. So if I have labeled this node as 1, so this node will also be labeled as 1. अगर कोई दो नोड्स किसी शॉर्ट से जुड़े हुए हैं, किसी सिंपल वायर से जुड़े हुए हैं, तो उन दोनों, उस वायर को रिप्लेस करके दोनों नोड्स को आपस में जोड़ सकते हैं एक बार. और उनकी जो लेबलिंग हम लोग करते हैं 1 और 2, अब इनको 2 नहीं लेबल करेंगे, अगर इसको 1 किया तो इसको भी मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा, लेबल 1 ही करना पड़ेगा। इस बात का ध्यान रखेंगे जब हम लोग प्रैक्टिकल सर्किट सॉल्विंग के लिए भी जाएंगे न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम में, तो इस बात को मैं फर्दर आपके साथ फिर से डिस्कस करूंगा। लूप या मेश, कोई भी करंट कैरिंग पाथ जिसकी स्टार्टिंग और एंडिंग सेम नोड से हो रही हो, वो लूप बन जाता। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं अगर इस पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करता हूं, मान लो इस पॉइंट को मैं 1 कह देता हूं, अब 1 से चलते हुए मैं आता हूं, वापस इसी 1 पे आ जाता हूं, तो ये क्या बन गया, एक क्लोज्ड करंट कैरिंग पाथ हो गया। तो ये क्लोज्ड करंट कैरिंग पाथ starting and ending with the same node or point is going to give me a loop। इस वाले सर्किट्स में आओ, देखो अगर मैं यहां से स्टार्ट करता हूं इस ब्लिंकिंग डॉट से और चलते हुए वापस इसी ब्लिंकिंग इस वाले डॉट पे आके रुक जाऊंगा, तो ये एक नोड बन जाएगा, ये एक लूप बन जाएगा। लेट्स कॉल इट एज अ लूप 1। इसी तरह से मैं यहां से स्टार्ट करता हूं और मैं इस पाथ पे घूमकर वापस आ जाता हूं, तो दिस इज माय सेकंड लूप, लूप 2। तो या मैं इस पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करता हूं और ये पाथ लेते हुए वापस आ जाता हूं, तो ये मेरे लिए हो गया लूप 3। तो there can be n number of loops that can be made in a circuit. You have to just ensure that your ending and starting point must be the same. Since I started from here and then I end over here, that's the first thing that you should remember. And second thing, I should not cross that very loop or node twice. Sorry, that very node or point twice. मैं इसी नोड या पॉइंट को 2 बार नहीं मुझे क्रॉस करना, बस एक बार चला और यहां पहुंच गया, वो लूप तैयार हो गया मेरा। ठीक, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई आप लोगों को? Now any closed loop with 2 or more electrical components will make a circuit connected with a wire, definitely. So here what you can see, here you can see that there is one circuit, there is one component over here, there is another component over here, and if I start from this is a closed loop, this makes a circuit. Similarly, there is one component over here, there is another component over here. If I start from here, I move like this and get back to the same point or node, this is one circuit. But if you see over here, I do not have any connecting path. Connecting path is missing over here, isn't it? So this is not going to make a circuit. This is an open circuit. Open loop cannot result into a circuit. So it does not have any electrical functionality. You can treat this as 2 independent circuits. This is one circuit and then that is the other circuit. This midpoint has got no functionality. So you should remember these 2 terms, the basic terms. One is a node or a junction and the second term is loop or mesh. As I told you that there are 2 independent circuits. This is one independent circuit while this one is the other independent circuit. And since there was no electrical connectivity between this part, so there is no way the electric current can flow, so there is no circuit that is formed. Always remember that we would need a returning path for current to flow. So if current flows in one direction, then it will need another path to return. The current would always need a returning path in order to make a complete circuit. Now the third term that is very important for all of you to understand is branch. Between any 2 nodes, whatsoever there is, that is what is called as a branch. तो 2 nodes के बीच में जो कुछ भी है उसी को आप क्या कहते हो, ब्रांच कहते हो। मान लीजिए कि दिस इज माय नोड 1, दिस हैपेंस टू बी बाय नोड 1 व्हाइल दिस हैपेंस टू बी बाय नोड 2, और इसके बीच में जो कुछ भी एक पाथ है, अगर वो पाथ में कुछ कंपोनेंट्स लगे हुए हैं, कंपोनेंट्स होना चाहिए नहीं तो शॉर्ट हो जाएगा। तो अगर उस ब्रांच में कोई भी कंपोनेंट्स लगे हुए हैं तो ये क्या बन जाता है मेरे लिए बच्चों, ये ब्रांच बन जाता है। तो आप देख सकते हैं ये एक नोड है, एक नोड ये हो गया, यहां पे कोई कंपोनेंट C1 है, ये कोई कंपोनेंट C2 है। अब इन दो कंपोनेंट्स के साथ ये एक सिंगल ब्रांच है, तो दिस इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी रेफर्ड बाय अस एज अ ब्रांच। ब्रांच से कोई सब ब्रांच नहीं निकलनी चाहिए, यानी आई कांट हैव अ ब्रांच से कोई हिस्सा निकल के बाहर आ जाएगा तो वो ब्रांच बेकार हो जाएगी। सो आई कैन नॉट हैव अ एनी अदर ब्रांचलेट्स कमिंग आउट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर ब्रांच, और एल्स दैट ब्रांच विल नो लॉन्गर बी कॉल्ड एज अ ब्रांच। तो इस बात का ध्यान रखना, किन्हीं दो नोड्स के बीच में अगर कोई एक करंट कैरिंग पाथ है, उसके अंदर कुछ कंपोनेंट्स लगे हुए हैं, तो वो चीज वो करंट कैरिंग कंपोनेंट के साथ का जो पाथ है उसी को हम नाम देंगे ब्रांच से, प्रोवाइडेड देयर इज नो ब्रांचलेट कमिंग आउट ऑफ इट। तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। अब दो बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हैं ब्रांच से। एक, सेम नोड्स के बीच में जितने भी ब्रांचेस कनेक्ट होते हैं वो सारे के सारे ब्रांचेस पैरेलल में होते हैं। अगर आप ब्रांच नोड्स लूप समझ जाएंगे, पूरी सर्किट एनालिसिस सिंपल हो जाती है। सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, बिटवीन एनी टू सेम पेयर ऑफ नोड्स, कैन यू सी दिस वन, let me call this as N1, okay, this becomes my N1 node, okay, and let me take this one and let me call this as N2 nodes. Is that clear? Now between this pair of nodes, I have got this as a first branch, there's a component, there's a current carrying path. I've got another current carrying path with certain components, and then I've got another current carrying path with certain components. So this I'm going to call it as branch 1, this I'm going to call it as branch 2, while this I'm going to call it as branch 3. So across the same pair of nodes I've got three different branches. So all these three different branches are going to be in parallel. Is that clear? So branch 1 is in parallel to branch 2 and branch 3. So all these three branches are in parallel to each other. All these three branches are in parallel to each other. ये बात समझ में आ गई। अब in a branch all the components are in series. इसमें तो एक ही कंपोनेंट है, इसकी बात छोड़ दो। ब्रांच 2 में तो भाई तीन कंपोनेंट्स हैं, इसे कह दो कंपोनेंट x1 x, इसे कह दो कंपोनेंट y, इसे कह दो कंपोनेंट z। तो ये x y और z, ये तीनों कंपोनेंट सीरीज में होंगे। और इसी तरह से मैं अगर यहां पे इसको कर दूं कंपोनेंट A, इसको कह दूं कंपोनेंट B, तो A और B कंपोनेंट्स ये भी सीरीज में होंगे। सो इन अ ब्रांच all the components are in series. ये बात याद रहेगी बच्चों। सेम पेयर ऑफ ब्रांच के against, same pair of nodes के against all the branches are in parallel, and in a branch all the components are in series. I hope this point is clear to all of you. Please take care of these two notes. These 2 points, they are the very basic of any circuit solving. Once again I repeat, across the same pair of nodes all the branches are in parallel, and in a branch all the components are connected in series. Now if there is a potential difference across any node is V, then all the branches will have the same potential. If the potential difference across any pair of nodes is V, then all the branches that are connected across the same nodes will also have the same potential V. Now let's try to understand that. Suppose the N1 and N2 has a potential difference of V volt. Then branch 1 will also have a potential difference of V volt. Branch 2 would also have a potential difference of V volt. Branch 3 would also have a potential difference of V volt. Is that clear? So what I said, I repeat it once again. If the potential difference across any two nodes, any two pair of nodes is V, then the potential difference of all the branches connected across the same two nodes would also be V. So take care about all these 3-4 basic points. They are the important fundamental points or properties of any circuit solving. If you are going to remember this, the circuit solving becomes easy. If you do not remember this, then you will find the difficulties in going for a circuit solving, friends. Now in the very beginning, I told you that there are two types of circuits. Either it can be a series circuit or it can be a parallel circuit. Just now also when we were discussing about the nodes and the branches, over there I told you across any two pair of nodes, everything that is connected is a branch. All the branches are in parallel and in a branch all the components are connected in series. So that is the fundamental way of looking towards the branches and looking towards the series and parallel circuits. If you have got same pair of nodes and there are number of n branches, so all those n number of branches will be in parallel. And similarly, in a branch, all the components are going to be in series. Another way to identify series and parallel, you can take it from your junior class, where you must have been told if the components are connected back to back or in link, then the components are said to be as in series. So here what you can see, you can see there are three components P, Q and R. And let me call one end of the component as head, another as tail. Then you will find that they are connected in a sequence. Head, tail, head, tail, head, tail. So this head, tail sequence or series made us to call these components are connected in series. So another way of visualizing series combination as if the components are connected back to back or in link with one another. Whereas in parallel combination, if I take once again all these three components P, Q and R and call one end as head, another end as tail, then you will find all the heads are then connected at one point, whereas all the tails are then connected at another point. So in a parallel combination, all heads and all tails are connected at one point and all tails are then connected at the other point. So that is another way of realizing the series and parallel combination. So अगर किसी भी कंपोनेंट्स को हमने बैक टू बैक जोड़ा है, अगर एक का हेड दूसरे के टेल में, दूसरे का हेड तीसरे के टेल से अगर मैं जोड़ता चला जा रहा हूं, तो ये जो कॉम्बिनेशन आ रहा है हेड टेल के कॉम्बिनेशन को ही हम सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन कहते हैं। और अगर सारे कंपोनेंट्स को हेड को उठा के एक पॉइंट पर जोड़ दूं और सारे कंपोनेंट्स के टेल्स को उठा के एक पॉइंट पर जोड़ दूं, तो ये कॉम्बिनेशन फिर पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन होता है। जैसा कि यहां देख रहे हो, यहां पे देखो एक इसका हेड ठीक है ना, और इसका हेड, ये तीनों हेड्स आके एक ही पॉइंट पर जुड़ जा रहे हैं। और इधर देखो इसका टेल और इसका टेल जाके एक पॉइंट पर जुड़ जा रहे हैं। तो अगर ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन आ रहा है जिसे हम क्या कहेंगे, पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन। और यहां पे देखो ये हेड ये टेल और सेकंड वाले का, अब देखो ये सेकंड वाले का हेड पहले वाले के टेल के साथ जुड़ा बैक टू बैक, हेड का टेल से, यहां हेड का इसके टेल से। तो जब ये हेड टेल की सीरीज बन जाएगी तो इसको क्या कहेंगे बच्चों, सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन। अब सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन की खासियत ये रहती है कि जो भी चीज फ्लो कर रही है, चाहे वो चार्ज हो या कोई अदर फिजिकल क्वांटिटी हो, द फ्लो ऑफ चार्ज और करंट थ्रू ईच कंपोनेंट विल रिमेन द सेम। तो यहां पर मैं फिर से वो तीन कंपोनेंट ले लेता हूं, P, Q एंड R, and I'm connecting across these three elements a battery source, and I'm allowing the charge to flow, and let's say the charge begins to flow. So you would notice that the same amount of charge that flows from P will enter the Q, it also flows from the R, and then it returns back. So the flow of the charge is always going to remain the same through each components. But what would happen? The battery potential is going to get divided across these three components. If I have got a battery of potential V, then this potential V is going to get divided across P, Q and R. So if the potential across P that gets dropped is V1, potential across Q that gets dropped is V2, and potential across R that gets dropped is V3, then I can say that V is equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now this becomes my working equation of a series circuit. So what is a series circuit is well known for? It is going to be well known for its ability to divide the potential, and that's the reason why it is called as potential divider circuit. And this potential divider circuit and this equation is going to be referred by us as working equation for any series circuit. Now if I refer to any parallel circuit, so you know that in case of a parallel circuit, for example this is the parallel circuit, I connect any battery and allow the current to flow, then across this particular node, let's call it as N1, the flow of charge or current whatsoever you are sending is going to get divided into three parts. From here let's say I1 or Q1 goes, from here let's say I2 or Q2 goes, and from here let's say I3 or Q3 goes. So what is happening? The flow of the quantity is getting divided. So it is going to get divided in case of parallel circuits. So that's why the parallel circuit is known as current divider circuit. Already I have told you, across the same nodes the potential is going to remain the same. Now as I told you, the current or the potential gets divided, so that's the reason why Q is equals to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, or I is equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So this becomes my working equation of parallel circuit. So if somebody is looking for working equation of a parallel circuit, please do remember it is going to be I is equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3, or Q is equals to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Now as far as the potential is concerned, if I connect a battery, so if I connect a battery across these two nodes, let me call this node as N1 and this node as N2, and let me put up some battery or some potential difference of say V volt, then you can see N1 and N2 nodes have got the potential difference of V volt. Then this becomes the branch 1 of N1, this becomes the branch 2 between N1 and N2, and this becomes my branch 3 between N1 and N2. Then across these three branches also the potential is going to remain the same. So that's why I have written down, if the potential difference across two nodes is V, then potential difference across all the branches between the same node is also going to be V. So across parallel circuit, the voltage always remains the same, but the current gets divided, hence that is known as current divider circuit. So remember friends, a parallel circuit is a current divider circuit, whereas a series circuit is a voltage divider circuit, and I have told you the working equation of the same. In our further class or in our further video, we will discuss it with relevance to capacitor and resistor. Take care. Thank you. Friends, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give a like or comment. अगर अभी तक आपने मेरे इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज डू द सेम. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so that whenever a new video is loaded, you get the notification. Take care, and we will meet back again with a new video and a new solution. Thank you, friends.